This video is about the evolution of horses. Equus is the last extant genus of the family Equidae. The first known horse being the size of a cat. This is Hyracotherium. We will begin here on our journey through horse evolution in the Eocene. We will then visit each of these other time periods and take a look at how the horse has changed as we travel through time. Hyracotherium lived in the Eocene. It was found in the northern hemisphere of North America and Western Europe. Temperatures of the Eocene are fairly warm, so Hyracotherium didn't need to be large. It was approximately 60 centimetres long and 1.5 foot tall. Habitat consisted of forest and lived like a forest-dwelling deer. Here it could hide in bushes away from predators such as early nimravids. Its mouth was suited for browsing and was unspecialised. Its teeth had low crowns, suitable for chewing leaves and fruits. It had a short diastema, which separates the front snipping teeth from the rear molars, so had a short face. Hyracotherium was polydactyl and had 4 toes on the front limbs and 3 on the hind limbs, all ending in a small hoof. These feet are suitable for walking through wet forest land, as they spread out the weight instead of condensing it to one single point. Lived from the mid-Eocene to the Oligocene. Here the climate became slightly drier and forests opened out into more open plains. Mesohippus means middle horse, as was the intermediate link between primitive Hyracotherium and later horses. Temperatures had started to drop, so Mesohippus was larger at 2 feet tall. Its longer legs had only 3 toes in contact with the ground, with the centre toe being the main weight-bearing appendage. Overall construction of the foot and its larger size reveals Mesohippus was a faster horse. Long legs allowed it to cover greater distances for finding sparser food while saving energy. It could also run away from its new predator Hyenodon that had recently emerged. Its teeth had higher crowns, showing a shift to a more varied diet and a specialisation to grasses. Living in herds provided greater vigilance and safety from predators on the more open plains. Merychippus lived in the Miocene. The Miocene corresponded to climatic drying, supporting the growth of vast grasslands with no forest land. Merychippus was 1 metre high at the shoulder, but some could reach up to 1.8 metres. It lived in herds and supported its body weight with feet that ended with a single well-adapted toe with a hoof at the end. 2 toes were still present on either side of the central toe, but had been reduced to the point of being vestigial, so they were not fulfilling any purpose. The long face of Merychippus was due to it having a much longer diastema than the more primitive ancestors we've just visited. It also had a more developed jaw to house its high crowned teeth. This makes it the first known solely grazing horse and is the ancestor of all later horse lineages. The front incisors were adapted for better suit cropping of large mouthfuls of grass, which would then be passed back to the high crown molars for grinding. A further adaptation for a grinding lifestyle is a much longer neck than its browsing ancestors. This allowed Merychippus to reach the ground while retaining the long legs for fast running. This allowed it to escape from Amphision, a large carnivorous bear dog, which was considerably better adapted to chase faster moving prey than Hyenodon. The leg muscles of Merychippus had also become more developed and concentrated. Articulation in the lower leg relied more upon the attachment of long tendons, allowing a spring motion. Merychippus lived from the mid-Miocene to the Pleistocene. It was around 1.2 metres tall at the shoulder, depending on the species. The 2 side toes are now barely visible, if at all, and it has even more developed hoof feet supported by the middle toe. Pliohippus is known as the grandfather to other horses, as gave rise to Dinohippus, which in turn gave rise to the modern Equus. The main feature for differentiating Pliohippus was the 2 pits on either side of the skull at the front of the eyes. It is thought that these pits were used as resonating chambers, allowing Pliohippus to adjust the pitch and sound of its calls. Its long legs allowed it to cover a great distance for grazing. Pliohippus is thought to be a descendant of Pliohippus, but lived around the same time, from the Miocene through to the Pleistocene. It was around 1.5 metres tall at the shoulder, but some variance between species. It lived across North America from Canada to Mexico. Dinohippus was mainly monodactyl, which has 1 digit, but some individuals were still tridactyl, suggesting that monodactyl-tridactyl development was dependent upon the species and was not a rule for the genus. The legs, with condensed muscles, and the feet, with a single hoof toe, were formed in such a way that Dinohippus could stand for extended periods of time with minimum energy expenditure. This is useful for an animal being constantly on the move and needing to be able to dash away from predators at a split-second notice. So it is thought that Dinohippus is an immediate ancestor to modern-day horses. Equus is the last extant genus of the Equidae family. It lived from 5 million years ago till the present, so from the Pleistocene through to today. Species of equus include horses, asses, and zebras.